Hello everyone, welcome to Knowledge India once again. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about AWS CLI command line interface. So if you are trying to learn AWS or if you are working on AWS, of course you can go ahead and interact and do things on AWS using its management console. But as you progress further, knowing CLI would be very helpful for you. Also, if you are in the role of a cloud engineer or you are targeting to work more hands-on, uh, CLI knowledge is going to be very, very useful for you. We do have a couple of videos on our channel where we have shown some usage of CLI already. But in this particular tutorial, we are going to talk about first thing, the new version of AWS CLI, which is version 2. We'll go ahead and set it up. In addition to that, we will also see that how can you go ahead and use AWS CLI with AWS SSO, right? So all of you have seen in our previous videos that how can you go ahead and set up AWS SSO and what is the benefit of doing it. Once you set it up, you need not you need not have long-term credentials in n number of AWS accounts. For example, if you have to access 10 different AWS accounts, you don't need to have different IAM user in every AWS account, right? You authenticate once, either via your Active Directory or Azure Active Directory, or maybe you are using AWS SSO inbuilt credential store, doesn't matter, but you basically authenticate once, right? And after that, short-term credentials get created for you. Those short-term credentials are just valid for a couple of hours. You can go ahead and set it up in your AWS SSO settings that for how long those credentials should be valid. Now the good thing is you use those credentials and automatically after a couple of hours they become invalid. Now we have done that in case of management console already. If you have to do similar thing in CLI as well, how would you do that? We will cover that in this particular video. Okay, so please watch this video till the end to understand all such things, how to do that. Also, we'll try to show you that how can you go ahead and set up profile, you know, using your AWS CLI and then make use of it. So let us get started. The first thing is that you should go ahead and install version 2 of AWS CLI. Now, like me, if you have version 1 installed on your computer, you'll have to first uninstall it. Now, there are two ways in which you can do it. First, one of the options is you can go to your, you know, this window, uninstall or change a program, search your AWS CLI program and uninstall it. If you are not able to find it there, then probably you installed it using pip. So you can go to your command window and you can put this command pip3 uninstall AWS CLI, put an enter, and your AWS CLI will get uninstalled. Because I had version 1, so I did this. I would also recommend you that when you are opening this command window, you choose the option of run as administrator. Okay, instead of just launching this command window plain, it is recommended that you run it as an administrator. So now CLI is gone, or the CLI version 1 is uninstalled from my system, and I'm going to go ahead and install AWS CLI version 2. So what is the process for that? How are you like? How will we go ahead and install it? So it's very simple. Of course, my laptop is Windows laptop, right? So we can go ahead and how do we install it? It's very simple. You have to open a URL, where AWS has put the installable, and then you can just go ahead and install it. It's very easy. Let me show you here. So here is the thing. So click on this, and Microsoft installer file gets downloaded. You just press open, and it would do the necessary installation. Scanning for virus. Let's give it a couple of seconds. Okay, so you can see welcome to AWS command line interface version 2 setup wizard, right? So it's very easy. You have to just say next, you accept this. So next, and say install. So it would just install the version 2. Okay, so it says it got installed. Now let us try to see if this command works. Currently no, but we'll have to just close and open this window again. So let's do that. Right, so you can see that AWS-CLI slash 2.1.34. So our CLI is installed, version 2 is installed. Let's go ahead and do two things now. One is that we will go ahead and configure our CLI to work with AWS SSO, and the other one is I also want to show you that how can you set up multiple profiles if you have, if you have to, let's say work with different set of credentials. Sometimes let's say you are working on different AWS accounts. For account 1 you have got one set of access key, secret key. For account 2 you have got something else. For account 3 you've got something else, right? So you may go ahead and create multiple profiles within on your machine, and then easily you will be able to switch between different profiles and you'll be able to execute your commands, right? So it becomes very helpful if you have to, if you have to deal with multiple credentials, then the profile thing works, or proves to be very helpful. And of course, the second thing is that you use AWS SSO with your CLI. So let's go ahead and do the SSO part first. Before going ahead, I would like to show you these two files, config and credentials. These files typically get created within a hidden directory or folder called .aws, and this folder will be there under the under the users folder, and within users folder you will have a folder with your name. So I'm operating of course with my user named Mayank. So within that, there's a folder called .aws, and within that you will see these two files. Now these two files are important because any configuration which you go ahead and do, let's say later on when we'll set up profile, and let's say we go ahead and put our access key, secret key, etc., all those credentials and any settings, let's say whether we want to use JSON or we want to which region we want to use, all such things get stored in these files. Okay, so currently if I just open up these files, they are empty. Of course, there was some credential from the previous installation. I've just cleared it off. So currently it's empty. There's nothing. But later on, as we move ahead and we do things, we'll be able to see things appearing here. So let us go ahead and first configure our CLI to work with AWS SSO. I'm just thinking I'll increase the font slightly for you guys so that it is even better. I hope this should be good. So what we'll do is we'll say AWS configure SSO. So then it asks me give me the start URL for SSO. Now this is the same URL, if you guys remember from our previous video. If you have to log in, to AWS SSO, there is a .aws apps URL, right? So the same URL you have to put here. I have noted it down for my, for my setup. Of course, you can also go ahead and find this URL from your SSO settings page. So take this and put it here, center. Next, it will ask you region. So I have set up my SSO in which region? In the Ohio region. So I'll pick up US East 2 and I'll put it here. We'll say enter, and let's see what does it say. It says attempting to automatically open the SSO authorization page, and so it is trying to open a page. It has and it says enter this, this code. So this code actually got entered automatically. What happened? It went to my other screen. So let me show you here. I hope you are able to see. So it is asking me to now put the username and password. So I'll go ahead and put a user, a user which I have already created. So if you have not watched that video, I am putting a link in the description. You can go ahead and watch that video to understand this. But there's a user which is already created at the SSO level, and this user has got, permissions in different AWS accounts. So I'm gonna use that particular user and show you this demo. So let me go ahead and pick up the, the username and password and put here. So I'll just first put the username. I'll say next, and then I need to put the password. Okay. So please, pay attention that I'm not putting any password here, in the command window. So it has just opened up a browser, and that's where I'm putting the credentials. So I'll press sign in, and I'll just say don't save this. Now see the difference here. It says you will be signed into AWS CLI. Are you sure you want to proceed? So if I say sign into AWS CLI, what happens? Okay, it is done, and it says you can now close this browser. So it's better that you close this browser, of course. So I'll close this, and you can see here there are 4 AWS accounts available to you. The first one is the master account, then the, of course, the audit and log archive and BU01. Whatever emails you are seeing here, these are basically nothing but the root user emails with which those accounts are created. So important thing is this, whatever is written here in the first, that is the name of the account, name of the AWS account, and here are the account IDs or account numbers. Okay. So what I need to do now, I will have to go ahead and I'll go ahead and select, I'll go ahead and select that basically which account I want to go ahead and use. So you see, if I actually go ahead and do arrow key, up and down arrow, I can go ahead and select the one in which I'm interested in. You see. So let's say I am choosing BU01. So I'll go there and press enter. So it says it is using this particular account. Great, account you have selected. The only role available to you is this one. So because there's only one role available to me, so that particular role is selected automatically. If suppose if I've got multiple roles available within that particular account for this user, it will again give me a menu, and I can go ahead and select the appropriate role. Okay, now in this case, I am assuming the role AWS organizations full access. It is asking me to select or specify the region. I'll say US East 2, which is basically Ohio, and CLI default output format, I'm gonna say JSON. Okay, CLI profile name. Do I need to give a basically a profile name for this? So this was my BU01 account. So let me just go ahead and put a profile name. I'll call it BU01 admin. So just to remember this particular profile, I'm giving this name here. Okay, so I'll say this. To use this profile, specify the profile name by using hyphen profile as shown below. So when will you specify this? If I'm currently operating as user 1, on the AWS CLI, but I want to execute one particular command as user 2, so at that time I can use this hyphen profile option. I'll show you that. So first thing which I'll do is I'll go ahead and run a command AWS S3 ls. I'm not specifying anything else, but it says unable to locate credentials. The reason why it did not run, because when you are not giving a profile, for example, when you're running the command like AWS S3 ls, what happens is it tries to search for the default profile. But if you actually go ahead and look at the config file here, there's no default profile currently, right? Rather, bu01-admin is the profile. So this will not run because there are no credentials configured for your default profile. Now, if I go ahead and run it like this, it gives me an error saying that an error occurred when calling the list buckets operation, access denied. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and log in to this particular, in a totally different window and see, and we'll see what is the issue with the whole permission thing. This is a separate browser window. Okay, okay, I understand. So the problem is that, of course, I did not see it carefully. It is AWS organization's full access, not the AWS administrator access. And of course, this particular role doesn't give you administrator access. What we'll have to do is probably we can go ahead and get into a different AWS account. So let me do this. Let me run AWS configure SSO. As you can see, it gives you kind of intelligence as well. So it is showing me all the 4 accounts already. So this time, let me go ahead and select a different account. Let's say I'll go ahead and select maybe log archive account. And in this, I've got administrator access. So that is selected. I'll put the region again, and output format will be JSON. And I'll go ahead and give it, this is my logging account, right? So I'll go ahead and say log admin. Okay. So this is set. Now, if I go ahead and run AWS S3 ls profile log admin, it should ideally work, right? So it is giving me, it is giving me all the buckets which are there. So, you know, the previous thing was a problem because uh, just because the role which I had selected did not have permission to other things. It had only some organizations related permission. It did not have S3 or EC2 related permissions. So please just be careful, in such things. You have understood that how to configure SSO, and if you are already logged in, then you will not, and your credentials are still valid, then basically it will not prompt, it will not prompt the browser again, for you to log in. So that's why you see if when I said AWS configure SSO, it just showed me all the available accounts, and I was able to select and get inside another account, right? So let me do one thing. If I go here, if I go to this one and I show you for config, let me open config. So here you can see in the config, both the profiles are created now, right? One for BU01 admin, another one called log-admin. The account numbers are going to be different. Roles are also different, of course, right? The SSO URL will be the same, right? If I go to credentials, there are no entries here. Why so? Because in the credentials file, entries come only for your long-term credentials, right? For example, if I go ahead and do AWS configure, right, and then I specify an access key, secret key, then those things will come in the credentials file. Currently, we have not done that, so that's why it is empty. And you can also see that there is an SSO folder here, and if I go there and I press on cache, basically uh, you can see these 2 files are there. And what it does is this file is like created quite recently. So if I open this file will have an access token, right? An access token which is quite big from here, goes till this thing, and expires at, there is a time, expires at, which is like from current time plus couple of hours. So till that time, this access token is valid. And uh, if I open this other file, it has got a sort of a client ID and a client secret. So this is more like to identify uh, you know your client. Okay, if you actually see one thing carefully, expires at for this client ID thing, this is like quite long. uh, Currently, it is the month of April, and here till 7 it is given, right? So which is like month of July, a date of that time is given. So I think it is April, May, June, July, like 90 days, right? Roughly 90 days, this thing is gonna be valid. Whereas this access token, this expires quite soon. This is like, I think roughly for 12, this is 12 hours. I'll go ahead and now get inside another AWS account. Okay. So I want to show you something. So AWS configure SSO. I need to put the start URL again. Okay. So there are 4 AWS accounts available to you. Now I'm gonna select the audit one. Okay. Now see this carefully. Again, I'll put and here I'm gonna call it audit admin as the profile name. Okay. So this is done. If I of course go ahead and run it like this, it will work. There are no buckets there, so that's why it is not showing up, but the operation was successful. Now let me go back here to this thing. So you can see the config file got updated. If I say yes, you can see the another additional entry came. If I go to credentials, no change of course. So we are clear with the config and credentials file. Next thing, we will go ahead and try to understand that where is the credential getting stored actually on the system, right? Because with AWS CLI, we tried to use SSO. So we went ahead and gave our credentials. So surely AWS would have issued some temporary credentials to us, which means an access key, a secret key, and some access token, right? So those things should get cached on my machine, and it should have a particular validity period. So if you see in this particular folder, there are two folders available here. One is called CLI and another one is called SSO. So first click on SSO, and here you go inside cache. You will see there are two files, um, you know, available here. Let's open these two files. So the first one, the file which is Boto Core client ID USEs2 JSON. If you look at this file basically talks about a client ID and then a client secret and then expires at. And if you look at this expires at, so this is roughly 90 days because this thing is month. Okay, this is month and this is the day. So year, month, and day. So this has got 90 days validity. Uh, and if you look at this second thing, there is also a start URL, the region, and an access token. So basically, this one, if you see, this is like roughly just 1 day, 24 hours type of validity, or 12 hours maybe. Please understand, this time is there in UTC. So these two files are important just to hold the SSO related configuration which you did. So basically, one file is there to identify your machine as a client, and the second thing stores the start URL, which region you have chosen, and an access token which is valid for some time. Apart from this, if you go back to this folder and go to CLI, you will see again there's a cache folder, and you will see that there are different JSON files which got created. Now I tried to configure different AWS accounts, so that's why these different JSON files have got created. If I open one out of these, you will see that provider type is SSO. Credentials, within credentials you will see an access key ID and a secret key, which you are aware of course, and there is a session token. So this session token, it's a long one, but session token is always issued in the scenario when the credential is a short-term credential. So for example, if you go ahead and for your IAM user, you generate your access key and secret key, uh, that is a long-term credential because it doesn't expire, within a couple of hours. Whereas when your SSO service issues you access key and secret key, those are temporary credentials and they have an expiration period or a or a particular validity period that is mentioned here. And looking at it, it looks like it is 12 hours, right? So 12 hours it is. If I go ahead and open another file, this would be there for a different AWS account. So actually, during this demo, I configured 3 different accounts, and that's why 3 different files are available here. So that's why if I go back and I get inside, if I get inside um, you know another AWS account, or for example if I use another profile, let me try to do that. I'll just say log admin. Okay, so it got executed. Credentials are issued and those credentials are valid for some time. So only when these credentials expire, I'll have to log in again. I'll have to log in again. And what is the method to log in again? You will have to do AWS SSO login. you know so for an example, if I want to just finish my work, and I'll say AWS SSO logout. If I do this, now see what happened. As soon as I said AWS SSO logout, from here under CLI, whatever was there, that is gone now. You see, there all those files are gone. So that means now all those credentials are destroyed from my machine, right? Um, let us go ahead and look at this one. You can see here the other file which was there, which was talking, which had a particular access token. That file is also gone. When I'll run configure command again, that file will get generated once again. If I open this file, so you can see this file is there as it is, the same values. So my client is identified, that is okay, but basically I cannot do anything, just by having this client ID available here. If I want to run again, or if I want to use SSO, I'll have to do this once again, of course. Oh, sorry. uh, let's say log admin. Why am I doing this? Because if you actually see, all these details are available here in the config file, right? So if I go and show you here, all these profiles are available, right? So while I'm logging in, if I just say AWS login and I want to use profile log admin, then all the settings which are here given for log admin profile, those settings will be used. So I'll just go ahead and press enter, and that's it. So it opens up, and then it will ask me to log in. And of course I'll have to put my username and password once again. I did not have to put it because in this browser the credentials are cached, of course, so it just picked up from there, and it will put me back here. So you can see it says successfully logged in. But actually, let's say if I would have done this login after some amount of time, surely those credentials would have expired, uh, you know, on the SSO portal. So it will ask me to log in again. So now if I go here and I'll just get inside the CLI again. So you can see that this particular JSON file gets written when you actually execute your first command, right? Before that, it doesn't get written here. So when I actually executed this, uh, it got created here. So that's how you actually go ahead and make use of it. And one more thing to understand is, if I just close this window, uh, you know, if I just close this window, all these details do not go away. This is still there. So what does that mean? If I actually go ahead and open this once again, let me just do it like this. So here, if I want to go ahead and run like this, this will still work, right? I just because I closed my command window, it does not mean that I'm actually logged out, because all my credentials are still saved here. They are still valid. So it will not ask me to log in again, right? But if I just go ahead and do AWS SSO logout, then that means at least from here, from my CLI perspective, or from yeah, from the CLI perspective, we can say we are saying that we are logging out, right? So that's why the credentials are deleted from this particular folder, right? Please understand that uh, if I go ahead and log in again now, because in the browser the credentials are still available. That's why it allows me to log in. What I can do for that is, if I go ahead and open this, and I'll just go and probably, if I just go ahead and clear all the all the cache, everything, then it will probably ask me to log in once again. Okay, so yeah, that's what it is. That's how you go ahead and configure your SSO. The other thing which I want to show you is quickly how to use long-term credentials and maintain profile. Let me log in here. Let's say to the audit account. Now I'm operating in a completely different browser window. This is a private window, so this doesn't interfere with the other thing. Now I'm gonna just log into this particular AWS account, and I'll go ahead and quickly create an IAM user. Okay. Say add user. I'm gonna call it KI demo. I just want to give it programmatic access. Next. And then we want to give it, let's say, read-only access to start with. Okay, so I'm giving read-only access, and we'll just go ahead and quickly create this user. So as soon as this user gets created, you can see it shows the access key and secret key for me here, right? So what I'll do, if on this window I go ahead and say AWS configure, so it is asking me to actually put an access key and secret key. So I can go ahead and copy this, and I'll put here. And then next thing, I can copy this secret key, and I'll put here, and I'll say US hyphen east hyphen 2 and JSON, right? So with this, what happens when I do this particular thing, you can see this config file got updated. Basically default settings came here. And if I go to credentials, you can see even those credentials got saved here, right? So if I go ahead and run something like AWS S3LS, now I am running it on the behalf of this particular user KI demo, right? Whereas if I have to use, let's say um, from via an SSO user, if I have to run, I can go ahead and make use of hyphen hyphen profile. So let me do this. If I want to do AWS S3LS profile log admin, what happens? It says the SSO token has either expired or is otherwise invalid, because you can see we have done logout. So what should I do? I should say AWS SSO login profile log admin. Okay, so with this, it will, once again, same thing, which you guys know. So it will quickly go ahead and, you know, make sure that I'm logged in, etc. All of that is done. I'll say yes, sign into AWS CLI. Good, close this. So here it is done. Now I'll go ahead and run this particular thing, and it should work. It should not give me any error, right? It showed me, it showed me the the buckets from where? From the logging account, right? Because this particular user is configured to work, or this particular profile is configured to work in this particular AWS account. Whereas if you see this one, this user I have created where? I have created it in the audit, I think. Yeah, in the audit. Yep, 878 in the audit account, right? So if I go here and I run like this, then it is running in the audit AWS account and using which user? The IAM user, which is created in the audit account. Okay, so that's what it is. So you can go ahead and of course create multiple profiles, you know, very easily. You can go ahead and create multiple profiles and put your details, etc. For example, if I want to configure another profile, just you know just with another IAM user. So what will I do? I'll say AWS configure profile user 2, for example. So now it is asking me an access key secret key. I can go ahead and create another user, but for now I'll just reuse this, let's say. So I'll put this and we'll take this one and we'll put here. Let's say this time I'm configuring US-East-1, right? And I can say the output to be itself, right? So this is done. Now let me go ahead and show you this thing. So yep, I can actually close these things. So see here, in the config file, another section got added with the name profile user2. So only for the default profile, default will come. Whereas for all the other profiles, first a word profile and the name of the profile will come after that. And you can see region is specified as US East 1, which I specified here now. Whereas for the default one, I had specified US East 2. So that's why US East 2. Also in the credentials, if you go for the default, this thing is there, and for the user 2, this thing. Now, in my case, I've given same, but if you want, and let's say you are working with multiple AWS accounts, you can go ahead and create so many profiles like this easily. And then without logging out, whenever you want to run any command, you can just put hyphen profile with that, and you can make it work like this, right? If I want to go ahead and run this command with a different profile, I'll just change that. So it becomes quite easy, you don't have to log out, log in, all such things you do not have to do. At the same time, you have to just change this profile switch, and you can execute the command in different AWS accounts. Okay, so use it a bit carefully, configure your profiles properly, and then make use of it. And I hope you understood the difference between long-term credentials and short-term credentials. In long-term credentials, you only have access key ID and secret key, whereas in short-term credentials, you also have something called session token, okay, which has a particular validity period. So I hope you learned something from this video and you understood that how can you go ahead and make use of your CLI along with your AWS SSO. Many of the times what people do is people actually go to this particular window, and from here they will they'll click on this, which will give them access key, secret key, and the session token. They'll take this and then they'll go ahead and configure step by step um, you know on the CLI by copying pasting, but that takes more time. The method which you have learned today, that can be really easy for you, because you don't have to copy paste your access key, secret key, etc. again and again. Rather, you just do their AWS SSO configure or AWS SSO login, and then you use the convenient browser interface to authenticate yourself. And after that, whatever is your access key ID and secret key, that goes and gets set in your laptop automatically. You don't have to do copy paste, etc. So kind of really convenient. Okay, so with that we will go ahead and end this video. If you liked it, if you understood it, you should go ahead and try it in your machine as well, right? Because unless until you try it, you'll not be comfortable. If you have not watched our previous video where we used AWS Control Tower and we had set up all of this, of course, its link is there in the description. You can go ahead and watch that, right? And if you are interested in learning AWS in a very serious, hands-on method, I would request you to watch our playlist. We have got a lot of videos on different AWS topics with practical demonstration. Okay. All right, guys. So with that, we will go ahead and close this video. I hope you liked it. And if it has helped you, you can hit the like button, share it with someone. Take care then. Bye bye. This channel teaches you AWS and Azure in really easy and practical manner. There are a lot of demonstration videos already on the channel. As you can see, a lot of professionals got benefited from our videos and you can read about them here. So if you are new, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon.